Well, hello there. Welcome in. I'm really glad you're here. Is it spring where you are? Because out there, it's getting a little spring-like in my neighborhood. Today, I'm going to be playing with some new, interesting makeup, and actually, I'm pretty excited to dive in. But first, apparently, I need to brush my eyebrows. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything makeup, skincare, and style for the over 50 woman. I hope you'll consider subscribing while you're here and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you're interested in more makeup, skincare, and style for the over 50, over 60 woman, stop by prettyover50.com. There's a lot more great information just waiting for you there. With spring and summer comes a little bit lighter makeup, at least for me, and I saw a product out on the marketplace that really intrigued me. It's this little all-over face palette from Milani. Have you seen this? This is their all-inclusive eye, cheek, and face palette. And I'll tell you why I was so excited about this palette is because the model in the ad looked so beautiful with all these colors on. Of course, she was probably 14 or something, so a few decades younger than me, but I wanted to try it anyway. I love a lot of the Milani products, and some of the Milani products are my holy grails, and this palette really interested me. It is eyeshadow, blush, and contour all in one, and I like the idea of having a whole lot of products in one very easy to travel with palette. I think that's exciting. I haven't dipped into this. I barely even swatched it, so today will be the first time I'm really trying it out. In addition, I have several other new products I'll be trying. You guys know I've been on a makeup shopping spree. Somebody stop me. And as always today, all the products that I use and mention will be listed and linked below, and they'll also be over on the blog, so super easy for you to find. Now, let's hop into the makeup. The first thing we're going to talk about is something I just got in. I got a whole PR package from Colleen Rothschild, and one of the products I thought would be really cool to try out today, I haven't even opened it. This is their Black Tourmaline Face Primer. Never even heard of a product like this. And of course, with Colleen Rothschild, the packaging is just beautiful, at least for the box. Wow, what a cool little container. Isn't that beautiful? This is the Colleen Rothschild Black Tourmaline Face Primer, and I would love to tell you what they say about it, but can you see how tiny that writing is? Who do they think buys this stuff? 18-year-olds with good eyes? I don't know. Maybe the box has some more information. Okay, here we go. Black Tourmaline Face Primer preps and primes skin, smoothing the way for an ideal makeup application. The black gemstone powder helps create a protective barrier against environmental stressors and pollutants. All right, we'll give it a whirl. I wonder if it's black. I haven't even swatched it yet. So beautiful pump, really just, lovely. You have to hand it, oh my gosh. Look, you guys, it's actually black. How's this gonna work out? All righty, well, let's give it a try. Oh, okay, so it shears out pretty quickly on the skin. That was really surprising to see it be actually black. So it does give a little bit of a darker glow to the skin, do you think? Or is it just settling in really quickly? It feels very silky and smooth. It feels a little bit more serumy than a lot of the primers I've been using. You know, the new L'Oreal Blurring Face Primer, that's more lotiony. This feels more serumy, but hydrating. It's slipping along the skin very comfortably. So super interesting product here. Does my face look blacker? You know what I want to do before we go any further? I want to put on some City Lips because my lips could use a little bit of plumping. This is the City Lips Clear. I like to put this on while I'm doing my makeup, so my lips are a little fluffier at the end when it's time for lipstick. Now for eyeshadow primer, I'm going to use two eyeshadow primers because I'm going to use this Wayne Goss technique that I've been trying out, and that is to put primer underneath your eyes before your concealer. Who would have thunk it? So this is going to go underneath my eyes, the Milani, and on top of my eyelids, the eyeshadow primer from Anastasia of Beverly Hills. This Milani primer is a little bit lighter than the Anastasia, which is why I'm going to use it underneath my eyes. So tiny little bit, tap it in between two fingers, and just put that underneath my eyes. And then the ABH, the hardest time I have with this primer is getting a small enough amount. So just a little bit on two fingers, and you can see how opaque that is when I put it on my lids. It really does cover up all the little doodads on my eyelids that I'd prefer people didn't see. Now I'm going to color correct underneath my eyes with my Stila Correct and Perfect palette. I'm going to dip into this little peach color right here, and that's going to go underneath my eyes right in those little purple circles. And what that peach color does is it cancels out that purple just through its tone alone and does a lot to really correct the discoloration underneath my eyes. I'm going to fill in my brows a little bit now. This is the Maybelline Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. This is in the color Blonde. So I like to start out my brows by just defining the bottom line first and then start filling in from there. For foundation today, I'm going to be using the Revlon Color Stay. This is in the color 200 Nude. You know, I can't remember if I've ever tried this foundation or if I tried it and I'm just forgetting, but I certainly don't have any memory of using this. So this will be kind of a new foundation for me. This foundation has actually been around for a long time and a lot of people really love it. I'm going to start off with about a pump and a half on the back of my hand, and you can see because it's running down my hand that it's a little bit more serum-y and liquidy. I'm just going to start tapping that over my complexion. I'm already liking the way that it's feeling on the skin. It's just feeling kind of nice and moisturizing and very, very light. Now I'm just going to start working that in with my sponge. It's blending in really beautifully right away. This looks to be a great color match for me, so if you're similar to my skin tone, this might be a good color for you. Wow, what a pretty finish. I'm going to put just a little bit more towards the outside of my face where I have a lot of my age spots or sunspots. I don't know. What do we call them lately? What sounds better? I think sunspots sounds better, don't you? Better than age spots. Wow, that is such a pretty finish. Can you guys see it in the camera? It's really, really beautiful. You know what this is reminding me of? This is reminding me of the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate Serum Foundation. Remember how I said it had a very light skin-like finish, but it evened out my skin tone and really covered up all my little spots and stuff on my face? That's what this is acting like to me. Really, really very, very pretty. Gosh, isn't it wonderful when we find a really great drugstore priced makeup product? I don't know about you, but I love it. For concealer, and yes, we're trying a new concealer that just is the way it's going to be for a while. This is the Pretty Vulgar Concealer. I've actually used this for quite a while and I've liked it a lot, but I did want to bring it out again and test it and try it against all the other concealers I've been trying. I like this color in that it's a little bit brightening on my skin, and the formula itself feels really, really creamy going on. I have really enjoyed it, but then again, I haven't compared it against the concealers that I'm finding that I'm liking. So I thought we would bring it out today. I'm gonna start with a couple little dots in the darker areas underneath my eye, and then just a little bit on the outside. Then this is my BK Beauty 205 brush. And I've really been liking it for concealer because it's so gentle on my eyes. Plus it has that little angle that makes it really easy to get into the nooks and crannies inside my eye. One thing I can tell you that I do like about this formula is it's very, very creamy. It doesn't feel drying at all going on. Just going to tap that in with my sponge. I'll have to tell you, you guys, I'm looking outside at the mountains right now, and you know, I live up in the Lake Tahoe area, so it's mountains and desert, and it's just really beautiful and cool. And I can see the mountains, and the snow cap is fading away. I think we're heading into summer. It's really beautiful out today, sunny, warm, hiking weather. Okay, so I have that concealer worked in right there. Now I'm going to set it with my Fenty Beauty Lavender Powder. I've really, really been enjoying this. Of course, this is a little bit higher end product, but I'm liking it a lot. And that lavender color really does a nice job of just barely brightening up my under eye. Now I'm going to take a little bit of setting spray. This is the Catrice Prime and Find Dewy Glow Fixing Mist. And I'm going to spray it right on the tip of my sponge right there. And I always tap that off on the back of my hand so there's not too much product. And then I'm just going to set that concealer down. Wow, that's looking pretty good. I'll give you guys a close-up in just a second. So here's the concealer on my 64-year-old under eyes. What do you think? Now we get to hop into the Milani palette, and I think I'm going to start off with eyes first. It has such a beautiful colorway for the eyes. It's kind of a very soft, warm pink with a warm brown accent. Really, really liking this. I'm going to take my BK Beauty 202 brush and just dip it into this soft kind of peachy color up here at the top, and that's going to go in the transition area. So I'm just going to place that right above my natural crease and really softly start defining that area. This is a soft color, about medium pigment, I would say. And I'm not going to be afraid to tuck that almost right underneath the eyebrow. What that's going to do is make my eyelids look like I have more real estate up there. I have a little less because things are a little bit lower than they used to be. I'm just going to soften up those edges now. Now I'm going to take a little flat brush, dip it into this warm brown color here, and just get the product right on the tip of those bristles. And that's going to go in the outside corner of my eye and up into the crease a little bit. So I'm just going to start in the crease and then bring that down to the outside third of my lower movable lid. And then deeper into the crease here. And then what I like to do is I'm going to turn that brush and tilt it up towards the outside edge of my eyebrow, just to give the illusion of a little bit of lift on the outside corner of my eye. So this is how that brown looks before I start blending it in. And you can see that lift on the outside corner really gives the illusion that my eye's a little bit more lifted than it is. I'm just going to take my BK Beauty 201 brush. This is a great blending brush. And just start blending that in and softening up the edges. These shadows really do blend in together really well. What I can say so far, based on my experience with other Milani eyeshadows, they're not as pigmented as some of the other eyeshadows. Maybe that's intentional because this is a more soft, easy makeup look that you would put together with this palette. So this would be great for beginners or someone who doesn't feel like they want to go into a full eye look. These colors would really be good based on what I've seen so far for a one and done or just a very simple shadow look, and they would be very easy to blend together. Now I'm going to take my finger and dip it into this kind of rosy pink shimmer shade right here. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to go ahead and show you this color on the back of my hand. It's really a very, very unique color. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it really is very pretty and very unique. It's almost a soft pink rose gold. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to get that on my finger, and that's going to go over the movable lid. It does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but not an obnoxious shimmer. In other words, it's not chunky and glittery. Now I'm going to take my blending brush and just blend the edges of that into the crease color. Now I'm going to hop into the complexion colors in this palette, and I'll have to tell you, I'm a little worried about this bronzer. It looks a little bit, I don't know, orangey to me, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward with it and we'll see how it works. Going to use my e.l.f. pointed powder brush to dip into that, tap off the excess, and just start laying that down. I don't know about this color, you guys. I generally prefer that my bronzer or contour color is very cool in tone, and I even actually like it if it has sort of a gray undertone. It just seems to work better with my skin. So this might be a little bit too mustardy for me, but we'll evaluate when we're done with the look. And then I always like to take it underneath my chin. What do you think about that color? I think it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, but it's not my favorite tone either, so it's kind of in between for me. I'm going to take my fluffy BK Beauty 103 brush and just really blend that in. That's one of the things about these all-in-one face palettes is that if every color isn't perfect, it's not going to be perfect. That's definitely a trickier thing. I do like the fact of having a whole face palette all together in one palette. It just seems like it's so easy, particularly if you're going to travel or if you just want something quick, you can grab that palette, put together a look, and you're done. Okay, once that's blended in, I think it looks pretty good. You guys comment down below and tell me how this looks in the camera. I do want to say that I'm really excited about the blushes for a specific reason, because they have a shimmer blush up here. Have you ever used a shimmer blush? I have, and I actually really, really love them. They just look so pretty. So there's a deeper, richer kind of rosy tone blush right here and a softer pink shimmer tone blush up here. I'm going to use both and see how it turns out. So this one looks like it's a little bit darker and a little more pigmented, so I'm going to be very careful with that and not apply too much. And I'm just going to lay that down on the upstairs area of my cheeks. Gosh, that is really pretty. Isn't that just so pretty? Now that's the darker color blush without any of the topper on it, but I'm really liking that. Okay, now I'm going to go into the topper color. Let's see what this swatches out like. Okay, so that's what it looks like on my finger. It just looks like glitter. Let me put it next. Oh, okay. So here it is next to that lid color that I used on my eyelid. So right there is the blush. This will be interesting. I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and just lay it down right on top of that original color. What do you think? Is it too much? We could always blend it in. All right, so this is looking a little bit more peachy than the other tone. Actually, it's kind of a pretty combination. I know it looks really strong right now, but we're going to blend it in and it'll soften up quite a bit. So I'm going to take my big fluffy brush and just blend that in. And now I'm going to take my sponge, this is a dampened sponge, and just press it in, particularly around the edges of that so it smooths into the complexion really nicely. Gosh, you guys, I think that is so pretty. I'm really liking that. Now if I could just change out the bronzer color, that would be perfect. All right, now it's time to jump into highlight, and this highlight here actually looks really pretty. It's kind of a goldy champagne color. Let's put it next to all the other ones. So the highlight is right here. This is the blush, the shimmery blush, and this is the eyelid color. I'm really curious to see how this looks on the skin. I'm going to start off with just a little bit because I don't know how strong this is. Tap it off and then just hit the tops of my cheeks. Oh, that's really blending in beautifully. Oh, isn't that pretty? I really like that. Just going to blend it in. So here we have the complexion. You know, I'm thinking it's looking really beautiful. I'm actually really liking this palette. And you know, even though the bronzer color isn't my favorite, I don't really think that it looks obnoxiously orange once I have it all over my skin. I definitely love those blushes, and I think that highlight is really pretty. Now I'm going to line my upper eyelids. This is the Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips. It comes with like 3 of these in a little kit. This is the Nude Eyes, and this color looks like it's black, but it's actually sort of a black brown. So that's going to go on my upper lids, and I'm also going to tightline with it. I'm just going to start very gently along my upper lashes. Once I have that laid down, I'm going to go in with a little angle brush and just soften that edge. And then you can see out here on the end, I have a little extra product. And I'm just going to turn my brush and take that angle and just angle that up a little bit to add to the look of a lift on the corner of my eye. And you can see that right there. Now I'm going to tightline with that same Shimmer Strips eyeliner and use the Thrive mascara on my lashes, and I'll be right back. For lips, I'm going to use the LA Girl Lip Mousse Velvet Lip Color in the color BFF, and this is the NYX lip liner in Con. Have you tried these LA Girl lip glosses? They're so nice. I really do like them very much. Here's the lip liner in the NYX, that's Con, and then this is the LA Girl BFF. Here we have the finished look. It was a fun makeup day for me. It was really fun to work with this Milani all-in-one face palette. I'll have to say I was a little concerned about the bronzer color, but I think it all worked out okay. It doesn't look too orange, and it really does blend in nicely and make a cohesive color look on the skin. Everything in this palette really worked well for me. The formulas are good. The eyeshadows are not as pigmented as some of the other Milani eyeshadow palettes like, I would say Sultry or Bold Obsessions. Both of those, the shadows are much more pigmented. These are a little bit more subtle. Another thing I want to point out about this palette is that all these colors could be used on the eyes. So you could really put together a beautiful one and done eye look and then use the blushes, bronzer, and highlighter for other areas of the face. So all in all, I'm really liking this palette. I think it put together a beautiful look. It's terrific for the spring and summer months when you want something just really quick and you know that all the colors are going to go together and it's going to create a very pretty, very soft look. Enjoying this all-in-one face palette from Milani. As for the Colleen Rothschild Black Tourmaline Face Primer, I don't know, you guys. It is an interesting concept. I would probably have to research black tourmaline in order to have any real opinions on it. Even if black tourmaline has all these properties that are really beneficial, I'm not so sure that you would use enough in a primer to make it really beneficial for your skin. So I really can't speak to the efficacy of the black tourmaline in this product. The Revlon Color Stay Foundation. This is so beautiful. This foundation has been around forever. I don't think I've ever tried it before, but a lot of people, this is one of their holy grail foundations, and I can see why. It is beautiful on the skin, and I know that I found a lot of foundations recently that I'm really loving. This is one of them. Very light, very, very subtle on the skin, just a little bit of glow. Blends in really beautifully. Really great drugstore price foundation. I picked it up in the color 200 Nude. Really perfect color for my skin. One thing that I often forget to show you guys is what I do with my eyes at the very end of my makeup. And the reason I forget to do it is because I look my face over before I do the close. And I always add this and I forget to film it. This is the Essentials palette from Sigma. This stays on my makeup table all the time because it's so stinking handy. What I do with my makeup look, like what I did today, is I use this color Snow right here to highlight right underneath my eyebrow and on the inside corner of my eye. What this does is really open up that inside area, which can get very dark and very shadowy, because not only is this a deep crevice here, but the skin on my eyelid creates another shadow there. So putting that snow in that area really opens up my eye, and I like the look. Additionally, putting it underneath my brow gives me a little bit of lift, and today I ran a little bit of the snow right under my lower lashes. If you feel like you have a lot of deep crevices around your eyes that you'd like to lighten up, I can tell you this palette is just my favorite for doing that. So that's the makeup look today. I hope you found this fun and helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you're interested in more makeup, skincare, and style for the over 50 woman, stop by prettyover50.com. There's a lot more great information just waiting for you there. I get so tickled when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything makeup, skincare, and style for the over 50 woman. Make it a great day. Wear your sunscreen and all. See you in the next video. Bye now.